Peace, what's going on? It's Ali Taj back again, man, twice in one day. Very rare. Did two transactions that most of us do every day in our lives, but it was just because of everything that I'm studying and how everything is making sense now, I looked at those transactions differently. So while I'm talking, I'm going to give you a really great view of something really nice, though, while I'm talking, all right? Grand Rising. So I did two transactions that we do in our lives daily, every day, but we don't look at them in that way. So I'm about to break it down for you. When we use a credit card, or we use a debit card and we push it through as credit, right? This is what happens. So I'm going to walk you through it. I always have to, when you're teaching, you have to teach as if you're teaching to a child. So don't take any offense to this. But when you're applying for something for credit, when you buy something on credit card, right? You swipe it at the terminal. What happens? What also must you do to complete that transaction? If somebody would please comment in the link. It doesn't have to be one person, everybody. If you all have the same thought at the same time, just comment it. To complete that transaction, even though you swipe the card, and from what your credit card company is saying that you are you've made a purchase. No, not Neil. Neil, on a credit purchase. On a credit purchase, there is no PIN required. What is required of you after you swipe your credit card, which should actually be the end of the transaction? Exactly, Neil. There we go. Because at the end of that transaction, you so-called got funds released from your credit card issuer to that merchant that you're shopping with. That should be the end of the transaction. But he will tell you what he needs if you will sign this copy, and this copy is for you. So basically what you did was created securities right then and there. And if you don't believe me, or if you need to connect the dots, Google your card issuer and then add behind it SEC, Securities Exchange Commission. And if you want to go further, if you don't get what you're looking for at that point, put SEC behind the search of the name of your card issuer, and then add form 10K, K as in kilo. Add that behind your thing and tell me what you'll find. So I'm going to tell you what you find before you search. You're going to find a Security and Exchange Commission. I think it's a 15, I may be wrong, it's a 15A or a 15 registration with the Security and Exchange Commission for Capital One, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all these places. They are a little live. My phone is blowing up. I apologize. All right. So that is what is happening. Also, what is happening on a debit transaction is that in order to complete that purchase, you need to enter in your customized PIN. Your PIN goes along with your signature card that you've left down at the bank. That signature card is down on file with the bank, and it's also an authorization through the Federal Reserve Bank. This was confirmed with a banker of mine that says that, how you say it, the Federal Reserve is the intermediary. Not the intermediary. They're the receiver. They're in the middle between the bank itself, the one you have the bank account with, and the merchant on the other end that you're trying to purchase something with. So every transaction is initiated through your bank, and then it has to go to the Federal Reserve, and then it goes to your merchant or wherever. So when you put in that PIN, it's a bond number, but it's also a digital authorization that you approved of the release of funds from your account at the Federal Reserve Bank. So this is something that just came into mind. It's basically an exchange, because I just went and bought something. I bought some food for breakfast when I was live earlier. And so I swiped my card, swiped my debit, right? I put in my PIN, and guess what I got in return? Other than the food, I got a receipt. I actually get two. One had to go back to the merchant that I bought it for. And if anybody knows, receipts are valuable. Literally, if you see a receipt in a parking lot, you're in a Best Buy, some big ticket place, Ashley's Furniture or something like that, and you find a receipt for $1,000, $500, $15,000, do you know that you can use that as a credit to apply for a tax deduction when you file your taxes. Receipts are literally money. So there's so many transactions that happen in that one transaction, but when you're paying for the credit card, right? So they're getting paid from that merchant, and then they get your receipt, and then they trade that in for another credit. So it's basically, that's a balancing out. You're getting a credit and a debit transaction on that. You did a credit transaction, but he's going to debit it, because remember, he's getting a deduction, debit deduction on the other end based off the receipt that you gave him. And then you gave your signature, which is another monetization. So you have to begin to look at commerce and trade differently, because that's what it is, trade. I traded my signature or my PIN number in exchange for goods and services. So this is a short one again. I just had to go. I like to spark thought in people's minds. If you feel free to comment or anything if you feel that there's something I left out. And I'm going to leave you with that. It's Ali Taj.